Oof, masterclass, by the way. Larkin is, God, we really got to get him in the office, man. He will be one of the best warriors. DSA National has not had a lot of victories, let's be real, with the exception of Maylot, I think, and Chris Rabb. DSA National has made very limited amounts of endorsements. He's one of them. And he is so goated. We have to phone bank for him. We have to do everything in our fucking power. Oh, was Donovan? No, Donovan wasn't national. Donovan was local, I'm pretty sure. But I might be wrong. I might be mistaken.
Thank you for being with us on Fox News Sunday. Good to have you.
Could be national as well. Donovan was national. My mistake. My apologies.
Your reaction to the James Carvilles, the Van Jones of the world, who say DSA does not belong in the Democrat Party. It doesn't align.
He's my only white boy this round. Okay, on the federal side, on the districts, on the representative side, on the Senate side, this is my only white boy, I think. And let me tell you, okay, he's worth it. Oh, Nate Bluin too. Nate Bluin as well. Sorry, you're right. Nate Bluin as well. My mistake. Nate is unfortunately lost his race, but he's Troyotathon. Okay, fair. Two white boys, three white boys. But to be fair, he's the only like DSA cadre. He's the only DSA cadre out there, okay?
And with their interests is the idea to within the party,
Also, Troyotathon is not a white boy necessarily, but a white man, okay? Troyotathon is something different.
Force the party to mold to your ideas, or do you think you can just exist within the tent?
I think it's very funny to hear James Carville talking about an AI stupid idea generator when there's $300,000 in super PAC spending from OpenAI's super PAC going for Jared Moskowitz in our district right now. I do think that James Carville and Van Jones are missing something, that electoralism is about addition, not subtraction, and I think it is.
That's a fucking great line. Electoralism is about addition, not subtraction. Boom!
Very foolhardy to be excluding people from the Democratic Party, that they're going to be begging for our votes in 2028, and we need to be building a majoritarian coalition that's capable of winning back power in states like Florida and taking back the House of Representatives.
So let's talk about your district specifically, where you are challenging an incumbent. You mentioned Congressman Jared Moskowitz. The Miami Herald says you're not the man for the job. They say in a district that's 25% Jewish, they've endorsed your competitor. They say this, the editorial board writing, Larkin said he does not consider anti-Zionism to be anti-Semitic, but that's disingenuous. He must know full well that many or even most Jews see anti-Zionism as a less obvious but still potent form of anti-Semitism. He may try to add his own spin to the term, but it remains offensive and is a dog whistle that no doubt appeals to anti-Semites. So what's your message to Jewish voters there in that district?
That they're a part of our coalition, and I will note that the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, which declined to endorse Jared Moskowitz in this race, made his assertion that I'm running against him solely for his religion patently false. They listed the Medicare for All, $25 an hour, universal child care, paid family and medical leave. So there's some contentious issues that we're dealing with down here in South Florida, and the media is not a monolith, and the South Florida Sun-Sentinel rightfully called out Jared Moskowitz's claim as false, and we reject the claim that anti-Zionism is equatable to anti-Semitism. I'm proud to have the support of Jewish organizations like Jewish Voice for Peace, and we're building a coalition for our collective liberation to stand up against anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, anti-Black racism, anti-queer discrimination, and for the well-being and equality of all people who call our nation home.
You also have support from someone named Hassan Piker. He has made a lot of headlines. He's helped fundraise for you. The Anti-Defamation League says he's got a history of rhetoric that sanitizes and justifies violence and terrorism against the state of Israel and using derogatory rhetoric towards Jews. That
he does the Shia smirk.
Claims that they say Orthodox Jews are inbred, which he did subsequently apologize for in response to backlash. He calls for the eradication of Zionism and demonizes Zionism as a, quote, mental illness.
Beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode. Who said that?
I could go on. He said a lot of things that are offensive to Jewish people and to those who support Israel. Do you believe Israel has a right to exist?
I think that Israel should be a secular and democratic state with equal rights for all people. And the current configuration of the state of Israel is a religious supremacist one that privileges Jewish citizens above Palestinians. And we see a two-tiered system of justice in the West Bank that's been under illegal occupation since 1967, with illegal West Bank Israeli settlers under Israeli civil law, and Palestinians who have called this their ancestral home being subject to Israeli military law with upwards of a 95% conviction rate. So the two-tiered system of justice, the two-tiered political system in Israel is not one that I think the United States should be supportive of if we believe in upholding democracy, not just here, but around the world.
Do you think that
Notice how he sidestepped the silly, like, do you endorse Hassan's statements, and just delivered what his perspective on the matter is, which is, of course, not dissimilar to the international human rights organizations, the United Nations, pretty much everyone, ICC, ICJ. Yeah, he ignored the bullshit and he delivered his talking points. He delivered the truth. Okay? What is this? Old Man Labor, Zoran, full interview. Zoran got people so upset. I don't care, man. I don't care. We've moved on, okay? Zoran upset people with this interview. Who did he upset? The people that got mad because he said we're fucking New Deal Democrats or something? Yeah, I know. I know. He's a Democratic sheepdog, okay? I got it. Put the policies in the bag. The things that people should be upset about with Zoran is not disbanding the SRG. Okay? That's it. And I'm sorry. I'm going to be as charitable as I physically possibly can to Zoran, because every time I've opposed him on something, he's proven me wrong. Okay? I still believe in him, is my point. The SRG is the Strategic Response Group of the NYPD. It's their counterterrorism initiative, okay? Yeah, not firing Tish, not ending and disbanding SRG. That was a campaign promise he made. He's not delivering on it. Like, I don't give a shit that he's saying, like, what we're delivering is no different than an agenda of the New Deal. New Deal Democrats used to deliver this agenda. Yeah, whatever. He's just... The interview's from June. Oh, okay. Classic. Yeah. What do I always say? Put the policies in the bag, little bro. Okay? That's my take on Zoran. That's my take on everybody else. Now, of course, Cinemarxism is correct, which is not a statement that I deliver on this broadcast often. Yes, SRG is counterterrorism, as I said in air quotes. And for, brutalizing protesters, I mean, they were prominent in the Columbia encampments protest where they like literally did a counterterrorism initiative. Right?
we should cut off defensive weapons, either by purchase or by us supplying them to Israel defensive weapons?
I do not make a distinction between offensive and defensive weaponry. Israel has been rightfully attributed as committing a genocide and apartheid. Virtually every international body that has studied this issue, from the United Nations multiple inquiries, the Amnesty International group, even Israeli human rights organizations, including B'Tselem. And when the United States is in violation of not just international law, but our own law, the Leahy laws that prohibit the Department of State and Department of Defense from providing military assistance to foreign security forces accused of gross human rights violations, we're in violation of our own law right now. And so at minimum, we need to condition this aid. But if it were up to me, I do not think that we should be aiding and abetting a genocide by either providing taxpayer-funded weaponry or selling it.
Okay, Hasan Piker also famously said that America deserved 9/11. Do you think we deserve 9/11?
No, of course not. No, I think Hasan has walked back that statement, and no, I do not agree with that whatsoever.
Okay, Act Blue advertised a gathering for you in Brooklyn on Friday night. The host committee listed, including Linda Sarsour. She has said things like, you can't humanize Israelis, they are the enemy, you can never work with them. She's advocated for a one-state solution, meaning...
Oh, now we're moving to Linda Sarsour, my queen. That's a new one. Or, well, that's an old one, but now a new one.
No Israel. Do you understand how having people like that supporting you in a fundraiser or any other way is very troublesome?
I will always have endless amounts of respect for Linda because she was so alone. Okay. She was so alone for the longest time, dude. She was the original sin eater. And she's a hijabi Muslim woman. It's like so much worse. At least I can like kind of dupe people into thinking that I'm a white boy. You know what I mean? Which I say I'm white all the time. And yet people don't fucking treat me as such, especially as of late. But like regardless, I am a white boy, you know? I'm a man at the end of the day. So like, yeah, Linda Sarsour as a hijabi Muslim woman, as a prominent pro-Palestine advocate for the longest time was so fucking alone, you know?
To Jewish people.
Again, Linda's not a candidate for office, and I think when she talks about one secular and democratic state with equal rights, that's a principle that most Americans support. I don't think we want to be supporting a country where there's a two-tiered system of justice, where people do not enjoy the same political or even rights of movement with the fragmentation of the West Bank and the construction of illegal Israeli settlements. So no, I do not believe that Linda is speaking towards anything but our common humanity and upholding peace and justice and equality for people in Israel and Palestine. So I understand that this is an issue that has not gotten its due diligence in media for a very long time, but I think that now what we are seeing with the contribution of our taxpayer dollars and what they're going towards, with not just the actions in Gaza, the genocide or the apartheid in the West Bank, but now with 1 million people in Lebanon forced to be refugees by Israeli occupation. And now we're being dragged into this very unpopular war with Iran that, at Marco Rubio's own admission, has been at the behest of Israel's government.
Do you think that there's an existential threat to Israel's existence based on some of the folks in its neighborhood?
I think that the people, the countries in the Middle East want to see the Palestinians' right of return. They want to see the ability for people in Israel, in Palestine, to have equal rights. And I don't think that that means the destruction or some attribution of violence towards what the ultimate objective is, which is just having people's rights respected equally and not having Palestinians suffer as second-class citizens in their ancestral homeland.
All right, Oliver Larkin, we know this is one of the top issues within the party, within the DSA, how you get to any common positions you can on these issues regarding Israel. We'll keep talking about them, and we appreciate your time today.
This was 1010 No Notes. I love that the Fox News Sunday with Shannon Bream is just the Israel broadcast. David Marcus, Fox News digital columnist, says Piker knows and understands that his value is almost entirely in the primaries. General elections are a time for the communist bear to hibernate, not to hunt. He will slink away, but his videos with Abdul are forever. I don't think these guys understand. David Marcus, don't blame the conservatives. This is the left that canceled Hassan Piker. Conservatives, including Turning Point USA, defend Piker's right to speak, while liberal outlets and politicians avoid the issue. The American left got a taste of its own politically correct cancellation medicine. As controversial podcaster and recent Democratic Party kingmaker, Hassan Piker has had his speaking engagement at the University of Washington taken off the calendar for reasons that can only be related to his, shall we say, unorthodox rhetoric. While not explicitly attacking Hassan the Hun, as he calls himself, the school said in a statement, going forward, procedures will be updated. In plain English, what they're saying is, we have no idea if this lunatic who dresses up like Chairman Mao is going to repeat his claims that America deserved 9/11 or that Israelis are parasites or that Stalin is misunderstood. And we don't want to be responsible for it. I love that he's just like adding his own seasoning to statements. I've never said that Israelis are parasites. Fair enough, even though the vast majority of conservatives and right-leaning organizations, including Turning Point USA, which knows a thing or two about having college. You know what's really funny? There's only one prominent state legislator that went on the record on JNS and supported this ban. He was a Republican, of course. Yeah. Travis Couture, Republican state representative, told JNS, I'm happy that the University of Washington, for literally the first time ever, has made the correct decision to not have an America-hating communist spread his hatred and terrible ideology to young people at our taxpayer-funded universities. So, no, it's not the fucking left that canceled me, dumbass. It's not the left that canceled me. Of course it was the Republicans. Maybe some prominent Democrats were quiet about it. Who knows? However, the same cannot be said about the Democratic politicians and liberal media who have been whitewashing Piker as an important young voice who deserves to be heard and are now silent themselves when he's the victim of silencing and cancellation. He's right. He's just doing this in a disingenuous manner. He's not wrong about the fact that Democrats loved me when I was fucking bringing people out as people that normally don't participate in the primaries and whatnot. But Rick Scott's been demanding that I get fucking canceled in all of my fucking all of my prominent speaking engagements. Rick Scott's been there being like, you have to fucking cancel this guy, whatever. No, Hasan, they will not because they're glad it's happening. They're tired of having to twist themselves in the knots to defend your offensive blathering just because DSA candidates can use you up to gin up votes in low turnout primaries. Even his closest pals are realizing that Piker is a general election poison. Look at this. It all makes you wonder why Piker's too toxic for the University of Washington to get valued. This is trying to drive a wedge. Remember what I said? Republicans are utilizing the establishment Democratic media machine, constantly trying to discipline myself and discipline electeds for aligning with myself and the DSA to get to silence them into submission, because from their electoral calculation, it's not great to constantly have to answer questions about me, right? And they're using that as an opportunity to make it seem like there's this real division here, okay? There's this real division. The reality is, I do not expect Abdul El-Sayed to come out and speak out against this. I expect the Democratic Party and the more prominent establishment Democrats to be like, look, I don't agree with everything Hasan says, but he has a right to fucking say it. Especially on an issue such as this one. If they want to fucking, yes, my dad. It's my dad. He's cooking. It happens. Or it's not even my dad right now. Anyway. Left-wing politicians and pundits spent weeks insisting Piker's a vital voice, especially for the young, but they won't defend him when he's silenced here because they're actually happy to have academia push him to the side so they don't have to. Meanwhile, today, it is conservatives calling out the censorship. The fact that they're trying to take ownership over this as like conservatives are still defending free speech, whereas liberals are not, is a major misstep by liberals. It's a major misstep by liberals. It goes along with the same attitude here. Abdul El-Sayed did not disavow me or the platform that he also participated in. He disavowed the 9/11 comments, which is fine because I too disavowed the 9/11 comments, which Abdul also represented. So what Politico is doing is actually this not so subtle sleight of hand. They're making it seem like because they couldn't get the soundbite or the quote that they wanted out of people like Bernie, out of people like Abdul, out of people like AOC, they're turning around and making it seem like they did the disavowal anyway. So for liberals who have also participated in this smear operation, okay, what they do not realize is this is an attempt to drive a fucking wedge between certain elements of the base. This is a non-story given Hasan Piker long ago disavowed Hasan Piker's 9/11 comments. Also, will Mike Rogers be asked to disavow Trump's repeated racist remarks, including his racist attack on El-Sayed and his wife today? Or will the media asymmetry continue when it comes to Dems? Yeah, 100%. Democrats need to be strong. Okay? Democrats need to be strong across the board. Even Democrats that I don't like. They need to actually recognize the moment that we're in currently. Okay? Because what's going on is very deliberate. What's going on right now is an opportunity to try to get anything they can to be like, oh, he disavowed his comments. That means he disavowed him entirely. Okay? And then they turn around and go, see, you disavowed him. Why did you go and fucking campaign with him anyway? That's what's going to come afterwards. Okay? Because what will come next is centrist Democrats, establishment Democrats leaning into Republican attacks. Republican attacks that revolve around how Republican attacks about how like, oh, well, Abdul, you're hypocritical. So the first part about this, from my estimation, the first thing that, the electeds are doing, and they're doing it well, is to just be like, yeah, he doesn't agree with the comments. I don't agree with the comments. Who cares? This is, Republicans weaponizing cancel culture. The second line is to flip it. Okay? So they've done the first push. The second line is to now say, look, he disavows the comments. I disavow the comments. It's ridiculous that this is a primary fixture when the president is currently Donald Trump saying that he's going to genocide the Iranians, refusing to solve the crisis in inflation that he ran on and won on, claiming that he was going to be the peace president, and instead has only created more wars and more instability. Okay? It's that simple. If Democrats behaved like Republicans a little bit more, not like aligned with them politically, but behaved like Republicans, they would make a big deal out of the University of Washington thing because it's a direct First Amendment violation. They would demand an investigation. And it's not to defend me. I'm just saying in general, if this happened to anybody else, I would say the same thing. Because for years and years, that's precisely what the Republicans did. While they championed cancel culture, they were able to successfully make it seem like it was the liberals that were pro-cancel culture, anti-free speech. And they were able to do that because they would send some far more vile commentators, the campuses, specifically to create instability and chaos on said campuses, like Milo Yiannopoulos, like a self-avowed neo-Nazi, right? To college campuses, and they would defend it. For years and years, they would defend it on the principle of the First Amendment. They defended the Turning Point USA stuff. They defended Richard Spencer. Milo Yiannopoulos and Richard Spencer are straight up neo-Nazis. Okay? And while they were still continuing the cancel culture and the anti-free speech initiatives far more successfully than liberals ever could, right? They were able to create an environment. They were able to create a media environment where, on the one hand, they were fucking bludgeoning the left with anti-speech initiatives and simultaneously making the public feel like the Republicans were the free speech party. This played a major role in elections. This still plays a major role in our elections. I think a lot of people don't realize it. They don't recognize it at all. So yeah, I wish the Democrats broadly, like the establishment Democrats, would be a little bit more clever. Even if they disagree with me, I wish they would be a little bit more clever and take advantage of not only the reality here, but take advantage of this current media environment and say, look, it's very clear that only one party has genuinely tried to undermine the First Amendment. It's the Republicans. That's precisely what they did with Mahmoud Khalil. That's precisely what they did with Öztürk. They weaponized ICE to kidnap people for speech in direct violation of the First Amendment. And we're over here still maintaining this idiotic notion that it's actually the liberals. Yeah. Arturo Dominguez had a good take too. The amount of time legacy media wasted on this weekend's Sunday political talk shows asking lawmakers and candidates about Hasan Piker and not the issues that are affecting everyday people speaks to the elitist and wholly biased attitude we see across U.S. corporate news media. They don't give a fuck about you, as noted by how they associate with the bigots in the White House. All corporate news cares about is sensationalizing your demands of lawmakers who are supposed to represent you so they can control the narratives of the stories they report. It benefits them, and in the process, they fail at holding power to account. They're putting on nothing short of scripted reality. They're putting on nothing short of a scripted reality TV show. Precisely what it is. So I beg people not to fucking cave. I beg people not to capitulate to this right-wing framing. I know it's going to be tough. And this is one of the this is one of the aspects that I'm referencing. Like
everyone being like, Abdul has a fuck ton of work to do mending bridges.
So what's really funny about this statement, as you guys know, is it comes from fucking obviously a clip chimp that Republicans ran with, but it started off with establishment Democrats who I was calling out. And what's really interesting about this is the attitude on Twitter is somewhat different than the attitude on Instagram. I saw the comments on the Instagram post and everyone was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? He has every right to be paranoid. It's not paranoia, it's the truth.
Here's the fucking take nuke for you, okay? You are all unbelievably Islamophobic pieces of shit, okay? You literally called the dude a fucking terrorist for months on end and like called him a sexist, misogynist, terrorist, bad candidate, fake doctor when he has like 2 fucking degrees. And now you're gonna sit there and be like, well, you know, you really gotta come to me now. Like, what are you talking about? Do you wanna fucking win or not? Lock the fuck in, okay? Lock the fuck in. And I do worry that there are some out there who, in an effort to make sure that this narrative that a progressive can win in a state like Michigan doesn't take root, will literally either subtly or, you know, not so secretively endorse Mike Rogers.
Okay, it is.
So I don't even understand how they can take that clip and go, oh, he's talking about the voters here. What power do the voters have in framing these sorts of narratives? What voter was the one who was going, Abdul al-Sayed is a terrorist? It wasn't the voters who were saying that. It was obviously the pundits. The voters didn't call him a terrorist. The voters voted for Haley Stevens because they thought she was more electable. The voters don't have the capacity to give endorsements. So it's very clear what I'm talking about. The voters vote. They don't give endorsements. So what's funny about this comment is that even if you hear it out of context, because in the longer one, I like talk about consultants and the role that they play and all this stuff. Chris Hayes and Alex Wagner discussed the obsession over Hassan's 9/11 comments, but no one mentions that Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson is a 9/11 truther. Hayes, both the mainstream media and the right-wing media are like, this is an election about what Hassan Piker said about 9/11 7 years ago. Van Jones had to leave his job in the White House.
Some deep paranoia that Democrats so threatened by the rise of democratic socialists and hardcore progressives on the left wing would support Mike Rogers over.
Yeah, it's not deep paranoia. Michael LaRosa literally did that already. Michael LaRosa did that already. So I can't even, like, the idea that this is deep paranoia is ridiculous. There are literal people going on Fox News, the same people who were doing exactly what I was talking about in the primaries, straight up are now endorsing Mike Rogers.
Abdul al-Sayed. What the fuck should happen here with Hassan Piker? Like, what should Democrats do? I mean, is this the case where it's like, don't talk about it? Should Abdul al-Sayed continue to campaign with him?
I don't really know. I mean, at one level, like, I think there's a little irony in like the whole discourse being like the left needs a Joe Rogan, and then like getting the closest thing to it and being like, not like that, not like that, not like that. No. And it's like, do you ever watch Joe Rogan's show and he says crazy stuff all the time? Like, I think there's a difference between going on someone's show and campaigning with them hugely, right? So like, I think you can go on lots of people's shows. I've been on Bill Maher's show. Bill Maher says all sorts of things that that not only do I disagree with, he says some things I really like find pretty wrong. The big question is,
like, that's the difference between me and like a lot of the established Democrats. Kamala Harris's endorsement, I welcome with open arms. But these guys, on the other hand, are like, no, just campaign with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is a towering force that's going to bring in voters. Hasan, on the other hand, is electoral poison. What are you talking about? So far, I at least played somewhat of a role in someone winning a fucking primary in Michigan. Kamala Harris didn't. I know that Kamala Harris has much, much better approval ratings with the audiences, with the voters that Abdul needs to capture. So I understand it. That's the part of a fucking broad tent. That's part of being in a broad tent, you know? That's why I'm not regardless of my disagreements with Kamala Harris, I'm like, oh, it's amazing. There are people in here that find it to be unfathomable that Abdul is like receiving the Kamala Harris endorsement, and I tell them to shut the fuck up and grow up. Meanwhile, the very same people will then still turn around and go, no, actually, no. No, you should fucking go away. You should go away, please. If you guys thought I was general election poison, why the fuck were you so mad about my refusal to endorse Kamala Harris because she was not distancing herself from the genocide in Gaza that the administration she was a part of participated in? It don't make no damn sense.
Campaigning with. I don't think it makes a ton of sense in a general election, frankly, to campaign with Hasan Piker. I think you also can't control what a 35-year-old streamer is going to say. I also think that he is learning the lesson that, like, with great power comes great responsibility. This is a dude who streams like 7 days a week for years. Do you know the amount of words he said? Like, you're going to say some stuff. Part of the genre of what he's doing is saying stuff. I don't know how much the guilt by association works in the era of Donald Trump. Like, the man had dinner with Nick Fuentes. So I do think there's a little bit of, like, the associational politics have lost a little bit of their sting. But
by the way, people are making it seem like Chris Hayes was like daggering me. It's not. He's not. This is perfectly reasonable.
The thing is, like, if Hasan Piker wants to contribute to the success of the movement, like, he's probably going to have to watch what he says a lot more. And I get
he's
that,
not
like,
wrong.
He's been in a different lane, but one of the things that all of us, I think, with public platforms start to learn is that, like, your words have consequences. And it doesn't mean that you, like, say things you don't believe. It doesn't mean you don't say things you do believe, but it does mean that, like, how you select your words and the way that you communicate really does matter.
Like, everyone.
Yeah, I don't even disagree with that. To be fair, since 2024 election, you said America deserves 9/11. Oh wait, that's almost a decade ago. Weird. Yeah, no, it's not. He wasn't even like. Yeah, I agree with everything that he said, to be fair. Well, a one-on-one tough interview on a Sunday show with Piker would be quite funny, since here's the one-on-one tough interview with the most prominent Sunday show just had with a war criminal who has ICC warrants for his arrest. Here are all 5 questions. Please tell me which one of these is tough. Keep in mind, this is an indicted war criminal chiefly responsible for killing over 20,000 children. You would think that this was old college buddies meeting for a beer. Sunday shows don't do tough questions to anyone but those they view as hostile to U.S. empire and Zionism. Here's the kicker. Look how adversarial they are to power. Yeah, Kristen Welker said, well, as you have said, one of your staunchest allies was Senator Lindsey Graham, and we cannot thank you enough for coming on this program to remember his life and his legacy in this moment of national mourning. Thank you so much, Mr. Prime Minister. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Perhaps before Piker, Sunday shows like NBC's Meet the Press, ABC's This Week, and Donnie's employer CNN, which has the Sunday show State of the Union, could book a Palestinian guest since they have yet to do so in 34 months of genocide. To be fair, he's cooking Donnie here, but Donnie wasn't suggesting that as in the same way where he's like, oh, they should be negative to Hasan. He's just channeling the spirit of what that process would look like in an effort to make it happen. You already talked with Alex Wagner about Republicans trying to cancel you too.
The same reactionary forces that sit around and say we love free speech will then very quickly turn around and demand your deplatforming. I, on the left, get there's so much advocacy around trying to deplatform me all the time. And it's oftentimes by the right. It's most commonly by the right. Like the whole, even the America Deserves 9/11 moment, right? From 2019, where I'm talking about the concept of blowback. But of course, I'm, not using the best language to describe the situation, was an initiative that was, that made its way to Fox News. And Fox News was doing a 48-hour news coverage on it. They're still doing it 6 years later because, the Cuomo campaign decided this was a viable line of attack.
America deserved 9/11, dude.
That's Zoran's buddy, Hasan Piker, saying we deserve 9/11. It's a disgrace to every life lost.
It was not. It was a major failure, which I could have told them. They should have given me the $3.5 million instead.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda, Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah, shouts out to Michael Bloomberg for that one, and also the other major donors. But But like that, what is that if not the exact same thing that conservatives rail against? There is this
snowflake
hypocrisy.
thing really is applicable way more to the right.
Dude, you know what's fucking crazy? Like, I'm the most consistent motherfucker out here. Like, straight up. It's crazy because, like, Alex Wagner's over there being like, yeah, no, it's, there's actually, we're going to lend some credibility to the right-wing framing on this stuff and, like, what he's saying. When we had a conversation about this and she was agreeing with me.
At this point than the left.
But that's always been the case.
Anyway, I'm not saying like I'm not criticizing her. I'm just at the end of the day, Hassan derangement syndrome is the foundational core pillar of all centrist politics in modern America, and I think that's beautiful. I know. It's crazy how much people fucking lose their shit. I just don't understand why they can't be normal and they just kind of like yeah. That was before you, singular, try to doom America to communism. Yeah. Human psychology is wild. Yeah, I just what I'm seeing right now, and nobody ever fucking listens to me, so it doesn't matter even a little bit. But what I'm seeing right now is that the midterm strategy of the Republicans, to identify myself and like, socialist candidates and even Tallarico as like far right radicals is actually designed to take advantage not of their own base's enmity towards these sorts of values, but it's actually designed to knife as many different angles in the Democratic Party's broad coalition as possible. And I do worry that a lot of establishment Democrats are going to lean into these attacks with the hopes that they can basically get the left flank candidates to try to cut themselves away from the Democratic Socialists of America. Right? They're trying to segment out different aspects of the Democratic Party's base to generate voter apathy at a time when they're facing a blue wave, +7 National Democratic Party favoring election year. They're smarter than us. I'm sorry. They're smarter than most of the establishment Democrats are. They know that their platform is toxic. They know that they have nothing that they can lean into as far as delivering things to Americans. So they're trying to divide and conquer all the same. We have to oppose this. There will be people to my left that say, Hasan, you're hugging and kissing the establishment Democrats. You're a fucking failure. You're a phony. They don't understand what I'm trying to do. And there will be plenty of establishment Democrats that will also lean into the Republican base. They will also turn around and mirror the same exact attacks. They have done so already. They are part of the reason why. They're part of the reason why so much of this line of attack is salient. As we covered already, preview of the GOP midterm convention. Yeah, the CW is that you've got to be for something, not just against something, but scroll your feed in GOP midterm argument is that you must vote Republican to stop the socialists and Hasan Piker. The status quo is mountain we've been taught to stare at in awe. Don't even think about climbing up there, boy. Yeah. So yeah, it's time to have some courage. Okay? It's time to have some courage. It's time to have some backbone. It's time to have some courage. Like when I see stuff like Will Lawrence leaving the Democratic Socialists of America, I get a little bit discouraged. He started that fucking chapter in his living room, from what I understand. And then he's like, oh, I'm running away from the DSA platform. They're going to still hit you on it, big dog. Be bold. Be brave. You will win. Excite people. Don't be afraid to lead. Here's Abdullah Sayed also cooking on the same issue.
So again, I'm a lot more focused on who I'm campaigning to rather than who I might campaign with.
When asked about Hasan Piker's comments on 9/11, Senator Bernie Sanders called it a dumb statement. Do you agree? Do you disavow those comments that America deserved 9/11?
Of course it was a dumb statement. And of course, I think Hasan himself would say that was a dumb statement. He disavowed it. So yes, America didn't deserve 9/11. But, you know, to sit here and play gotcha politics with a dumb thing somebody said out of context that they disavowed themselves to say, oh, well, what does that mean about what you think? I want to be held accountable for what I say and what I do, rather than this idea that we're so stuck in cancel culture that all of us agreed was a bad idea back in 2020, but we seem to want to bring back.
We are out of time, but I have to ask you before I let you.
Great take. Great take. What would you have said to your younger self if you told them that one flippant comment would become national news for weeks 7 years later? I mean, look, there's no putting the fucking toothpaste back in the tube. There's no woulda, coulda, shoulda on this stuff. I said what I said. You know what I mean? Ironically enough, 2 days after, I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have used those words, right? I was talking about the concept of blowback, but I should not have used those words. All of this is super, super cynical. Super cynical. Your best quote, my new best quote is this one. I'm like the new transgender. Or the war against Christmas, he says the Rolling Stone. I did say that to the Rolling Stone. This was the only photo that I didn't like that much. It's such a weird stance that I took, but the rest of the photos were goated. The official White House account is running anti-Abdul ads on their YouTube, a blatant Hatch Act violation, but nobody cares about that. Only Dems abide by the rules. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's totally ridiculous. Like the fucking guilt by association shit. Like, can you imagine asking a prominent Republican to disavow comments from Donald Trump? Like comments that he's going to make tomorrow or comments that he made yesterday, let alone comments from, 10 years ago or 7 years ago. There's no shot. Republicans would laugh in your fucking face. They'd be like, he won the election twice. Sucks to suck, libtard. That's what they would fucking say. We are the only ones who play by these rules, and these are not real rules anyway. These are not rules. They're just hurdles that are weaponized against the fucking left only, and only the left. It's crazy. Michigan Senate candidate, yeah, again, the headline makes it seem like the initial headline was Abdul al-Sayed disavows Hasan. They changed it to disavows his comments, but the narrative is set already, right? Now people will make it seem like Abdul disavowed my statements. Also, Obama reached out to both Michigan Senate candidates. That's good. That Obama endorsement will be very good. But yeah, this was, I guess there was more. Is there more to it?
Flip side of all this, which is, let's talk about it, Hasan Piker. Deep socialists and hardcore progressives on the left wing would support Mike Rogers over Abdul al-Sayed. We can unpack that in a second, but just more broadly, like, what the fuck should happen here with Hasan Piker? Like, what should Democrats do? I mean, is this the case where it's like, don't talk about it? Should Abdul al-Sayed?
It's so funny because the Pod Save America people ride so hard for me. Like, their audiences ride so hard. Usually, like, the Instagram comments are crazy. The Instagram comments are like, Piker isn't far off. I don't know the centrists are going to align with Rogers, but they actively vocally demonizing al-Sayed and hoping he loses. Centrist Democrats should get off the barbed wire fence between fascist crime lords out for themselves and the progressives who want to make America and the world a better place. I'm 52. I've been waiting a lifetime for these types of authentic, progressive, smart candidates. I really didn't think I would ever see it. If corporate Democrats and corporate media mess this up for us, I will be so pissed. Al-Sayed has talked about Piker. He said Piker is entitled to his opinion, and Abdul al-Sayed is focused on the campaign, which is 100% the correct answer. Like, I'm telling you right now, even on the independent media side, the ones that come from that still like establishment background, they are failing to meet the moment. They're failing to understand where the public is. Okay? Fav's cop to all his staffers being Hasanabi heads yesterday. Oh, John Favreau? Yeah, they are. The Pod Save audience gets it. The staffers get it. They recognize it. We are everywhere, okay? We are literally everywhere. Hasanabi heads are fucking all up and down. We are the Faillennial army, ironically enough. And not only are we everywhere, there are a lot of people who literally feel the same way that we do, but have never heard someone voice their concerns.
Like everyone being like Abdullah.
That's the other side of the story. They just simply have not heard anybody voice their concerns. Why are you talking about Hasan and not the points that he made? Hasan Piker has already contributed to the success of the movement more than anyone at Pod Save America or Crooked Media. That's not even true. That's not even true. The Pod Johns played a big role in Abdul's victory as well. They don't get a lot of credit for it, but I will always give them the credit for it because the truth is what matters to me. Hasan is not wrong. It's comical how much liberals talk about Hasan. Y'all really boosting his credibility and reach. He's not the politician. He doesn't need to be tone policed. Hasan is right and the Pod Johns are wrong. Hasan Piker is the reason he won the primary. We need Democrats to move farther left than now. Everything Hasan said was true. We all witnessed it for the past few months. We see similar rhetoric about Mamdani. The dissonance just blows me away. It's like this country really, really, really doesn't want anything to get better. Mind-boggling. I never thought that I would say this, but Chris Hayes and Alex Wagner know better than this. They know what he's saying and don't want to piss off the establishment. Comparing politicians associated with Hasan Piker to politicians associated with Nick Fuentes is insane and so disingenuous. I don't pay a lot of attention to what Hasan Piker says, so maybe this is wrong. Wait, what is this? Hasan is absolutely correct. Even without a political undertone, Islamophobia is so openly accepted. Yeah, if Abdul al-Sayed was some white dude, the Hasan 9/11 shit wouldn't be spammed so much. Like, who are we kidding? Of course it's fair to call out the establishment political commentators like that. Same with the comments here. Democrats complain that they can't get the young vote out to the polls. When Hasan literally helps bring out the younger voters, they complain. As long as Todd Blanche says it's not a crime to party with Epstein, I'm going to need everyone to shut up about Hasan. Both sides are obsessed with him, but continue to not give coverage to the survivors. Why does one Twitch streamer matter? He's done nothing wrong. But be honest and speak his mind. So until he's been charged with something, y'all need to quit spreading this narrative. You say it's paranoia, but that's literally what the Neera Tandons and the other DC Democratic consultants to whom he was addressing this to are doing. They're actively pushing people to vote Republican. What's also ironic is that every single media outlet is talking about how much we shouldn't be talking about him, yet that's literally all they're doing. You all crowned him the kingmaker by manufacturing outrage, and then when he steps up to help, you freak out. Either he has impact or he's irrelevant, but not both. Hasan has done more for the Abdul campaign than any other Democratic institution throughout the primaries. He's 100% correct in his take. The criticism is so cynical and disingenuous. Roll your eyes all you want, but the masses know he has done more for the people who want change than any Democratic establishment politician. Keep up the attitude or backpedal when it benefits you. You do you, Queen. They're cooking. They're cooking. That's also part of the reason why I get, like, these are not fucking, like, ride or die Hasanabi heads. These are people in the Podjohn's audience, right? So okay, we need to get your ego back down after reading all that. No, this is not, dude, don't worry. I will never have fucking ego about this shit. Doors open. No, because I get yelled at so fucking much. I get yelled at so much to an unbelievable degree, right? So no, the reason why I'm bringing this up is not to fluff myself up. The reason why I'm showing you this is because the Podjohns' audience are at odds with the Podjohns themselves. Okay? And it's not like these guys a year ago knew who the fuck I was. It's that all of this like negative polarization, all of the negative media attention is backfiring, and most people are capable of recognizing what's actually going on, where they're like, I agree with this guy. Why are you guys fucking bludgeoning him over the head with these takes? This is exactly what I said was going to happen when people came after me and Abdul, when Abdul and I stumped together, right? When I was like, look, they're positioning themselves as being pro-Israel on a 90-10 issue. They're positioning themselves to be on the 10% side of a 90-10 issue. That's good. It's going to be good for me. That's going to be good for the candidates that I endorse. And it was. That's exactly what happened. Right? Because a lot of these people have the same frustrations that we do, even people who have not heard from us. Okay? And just like the anti-Semitism line was so cynically weaponized against those who were pro-Palestine over and over again, to a degree where now when people immediately associate, when someone is getting called an anti-Semite, they associate that with being pro-Palestine, which has some negative consequences as well, because it, I think, shelters a lot of real anti-Semites. But that's the fucking environment that the media designed, unfortunately. I think by the end of this cycle, this association is going to also be one that they're deploying against anyone who's anti-corporation, pro-workers, like centering the working class in their movement, at the heart of their movement and their policy and their agenda.
Defund the police. I actually believe in court reform, right?
Yeah, sorry.
In Supreme Court reform. Every president should get 3 appointments. You can either use your appointment to give somebody who's on the court a second 10-year term and limit everybody's terms to 10 years, or you can include somebody else. Would that expand the court? Sure. But there's nothing in the Constitution that says that there have to be 9 justices. And like the things that I actually look at on Instagram, right? Of course, we get served that on your For You page. But then like every third video that scrolls on its own is going to be some OnlyFans model. I think the foundational issue here.
I'm going to be honest. I much prefer people attacking me instead of Abdul like this. I think it's more beneficial for Abdul if they were just like, oh, Hasan is a dangerous radical. He can just like fucking cast aside. Because once they put the crosshairs on him, it's going to be more damaging to his credibility, unfortunately.
We need to start taxing billionaire wealth. Right? And when you tax billionaire wealth, you disincentivize the accumulation of wealth. If you cannot stand for trans rights, do not be surprised when they come for your rights.
By the way, it's kind of funny because everything he's saying is awesome. And this attack ad literally reads like a promotional, a promo material for the most part.
Forward to pushing forward legislation that would preempt localities from participating with ICE. We've also got to make sure that in this state, we are not discriminating by documentation status. Right now, if you're undocumented, you don't get access to a driver's license. So you're stuck. You don't get access to a lot of the basic things the state offers everybody else. And I think that's ridiculous. And so we've got to stop discriminating that way. There is no reforming. There is no retraining. There is only abolishing ICE. Fuck ICE. That you can't reform ICE. You can't retrain ICE. You have to abolish ICE. It was a bad experiment. It's been weaponized to do the worst things. And I think we need to abolish it and start from scratch. I think he should be impeached. I do not think he should be president of the United States. I think he's done impeachable
beast mode. Everything is so good.
Things. Obviously, as a future senator, I'm not in a position to impeach. But when they make the case about the impeachable things I have seen with my own eyes,
I will vote accordingly.
So do you think the Israeli government should be considered by the U.S. as a foreign terrorist organization?
It's certainly a rogue state.
You're not going to play the gotcha game, but you're not going to say you think Israel has a right.
Well,
The truth of the matter is that these wildfires are happening more often because it's drier and hotter than it has been in the past. It's drier.
Dude, what? This is literally just the scientific consensus on anthropogenic climate change. I'm losing my mind. God damn it. People are so fucking stupid. What the fuck? Literally, they're just putting scary music over correct things he's saying. Like the other stuff, you could say, oh, the policy is scary, right? Oh, tax the billionaires. Woo, scary policy, scary music. I've yet to see something that's even misconstrued here. And this part is exceptionally dumb because he's just saying an objective fact. This is where we're at in American political discourse, chat. This is where we have arrived in American politics, where they will literally turn around and say, look at this correct thing that he's saying with evil music in the background. And people will be like, oh, that's a bridge too far. Like, what is the fucking audience that you have cultivated if you're a Republican that you think this attack ad is going to be successful? And perhaps it might be. But it blows my fucking mind.
Hotter because we continue to rely on fossil fuels for our energy. We need to get to 100% renewable energy. Number one, put as much sand in the gears into what Donald Trump and his acolytes are doing. And number two, build the conversation with the American public that gets us to the after Trump foundation.
What do you tell those people about whether or not this is a pie in the sky dream that you're going around Michigan talking about?
Well, clearly I'm a different kind of Democrat.
By the way, that was from the White House. A clear-cut violation of the Hatch Act. Like, you cannot utilize the office to land attack ads on the opposing party's candidates and shit like that. Doesn't even fucking matter. The attack ad looked like a highlight reel anyway, but it's still fucking bullshit, man. Meanwhile, to go back to the insane double standard. Okay? Liberal outlets are like, oh, what do you think about Hasan? Meanwhile, this is what the Republicans are doing. Every day there's a new instance of corruption, a new instance of a clear-cut legal violation, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Democrats can't even have their own independent media, right? Like, the left flank can't even have its own independent media without everybody fucking freaking out over it, which is not even criminal, for the record. Like, nothing criminal here, nothing even, like, immoral here. Meanwhile, the Republicans, they're running around putting their dicks in everything.
And joining me now is